Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Namrata Otani from the Law Office of Namrata S. Otani LLC to give you a few more tips on estate planning, especially for the first generation immigrant. Although these tips can definitely work for anybody, not just first generation immigrants, I do definitely focus on them because I'm one and I think that there are more misconceptions, confusions when it comes to as first generation immigrants. And there's definitely estate planning is more critical to us than a lot of people because we are away from our families. My tip today for you is to understand and to figure out who would be taking care of your children if you're not there today. If for some reason you and your husband or your wife go out for dinner and you have children who are under the age of 18 at home and you do not have something set up for them, and I don't mean just money, I mean if you do not have a person that is appointed as a guardian, as a just a temporary custodian, if in case you just don't come back because you're held up somewhere, what would happen if the cops ever come and knock at your door and your children are not adults yet and with another adult, and that person doesn't have the authority to keep them even temporarily with them? They will be taken to foster care and they would be left in the care of strangers until somebody with authority can come and rescue them and get them with the people that they actually know and trust, with the people that you want. Hopefully, if you have put those names down somewhere. Tip that I want to give you today is do not ever only name your guardians in your will. And the reason for that, if you have a will and you've put a name only in that will and you have nothing else outside of the will has to go through probate for the guardian to be appointed, which means that somebody has to find that will, take it to court, have the judge admit that will as in probate, validate it, and then they'll find who the guardian was that you had appointed. And then the proceeding for the guardianship will begin, and then the judge will appoint that guardian. This can take many, many months. You do not want your children to be in the care of strangers while this is happening. So you want to make sure, and this is something that many, even experienced estate planning attorneys fail to do. And perhaps it is for the reason that they have families that maybe live right there in the house. Maybe they already have certain authority that they have given to those family members because we don't think about it. And perhaps in just mainstream America, Americans do. But I can tell you that if an adult doesn't have the authority to hold your children, to keep your children in their home, when you're not there, you're incapacitated, or if you're dead, well, then those children will go to foster care until the judge decides where those children should go. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you have separate documentation that appoints temporary guardians. And in our case, a lot of times we need temporary guardians in the sense that we need somebody who can come in right away and take our children to a safe, secure place in their homes and keep them there until the permanent guardians arrive. And that's more important for us because most of the time, the people that we want to raise our kids are not here. They may be overseas, they may be out of the state, they may not be around, period. At that point, you definitely want to make sure that you have a really good long discussion with those children on a more permanent basis. Right? And that needs to be planned while you can. It cannot be planned after you're gone. The most important thing to secure your children's future and make sure that they're taken care of by the people that you trust, the people you love, the people who can impart your values, your culture, your aspirations, and raise them as people that you would want them to be raised as. It would be most important for you to appoint the right guardians and the right trustees for them, more than just leaving them money. So make sure that you remember that. And if you have an estate plan that does not have outside documents, please revisit that. If it does not have documents that gives authority temporarily to people very close by that can come immediately and take care of your children, and it doesn't give authority to permanent guardians to come in afterwards and be nominated as guardians permanently for your children, please ensure that you do that. If you have guardians that you want that are out of the country, overseas, you want to nominate them and have them written down specifically because this country doesn't usually want or allow children to get out of the country, especially if they're US citizens. They only allow that to happen if the parents have very specifically written that these are the guardians they want for the children, because the parents are the first authority. And if the parents haven't written something, then somebody is going to fight over the guardianship of your children, depending on who is in your family. So you want to make sure that you do take care of that, and do that today if you have minor children. That's really, really important. So take care of your family, protect them, and get them that protection that they need. In my practice, I have a set of documents that are only for minor children. And that plan is called a Kids Protection Plan. And it not only has temporary guardianship papers and permanent guardianship papers, it also has health care for minor children and other power of attorney for minor children. And it's got instructions to caregivers and to first responders, instructions to guardian. And we usually try to write a letter that talks about why or what the caregiver should do, why the first responder should not call the cops if you suddenly don't come, if you have a babysitter there, who they should call. And there is an actual protocol as to who should come in and make sure that they have the documents that they can readily show to the authorities to be able to get your children in a safe, secure place where they can be present until the permanent guardians come in. If you have any questions regarding that, again, my website is www.notanilaw.com. You can access me and reach me anytime, anywhere you want. You take care and have a wonderful day.